بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وهو الذي مد الأرض وجعل فيها رواسي وأنهارا ومن كل الثمرات جعل فيها زوجين اثنين يغشي الليل النهار إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون وفي الأرض قطع متجاورات وجنات من أعناب وزرع ونخيل صنوان وغير صنوان يسقى بماء واحد ونفضل بعضها على بعض في الأكل إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Yesterday night we started Surah Ra'd, and as was mentioned yesterday, a major part of the surah talks about the wisdom and the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and an invitation to humankind to think and ponder about it and find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using those signs. Last night we talked about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has lifted and elevated the sky without any pillars, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has controlled and given a scheme, a system to the sun and the moon, that they keep on doing what they are doing without even a tiny difference, and the real doer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tonight some more signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُوَ الَّذِي مَدَّ الْأَرْضِ, He is the one who spread out the earth. مَدَّ الْأَرْضِ وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا, and made in it rawasiya, weights, or this refers to mountains, وَأَنْهَارًا, and rivers on it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spread out the earth. Science today says that the earth is round, but therein is an even bigger sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that how something that we consider that it cannot be flat because it is a round, it is a sphere, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a sphere that appears like spread out flat earth. So this is the perfect wisdom and authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how He made a sphere that feels that it's spread out, and totally does not even, when somebody walks on it, it does not even feel, when somebody looks at it, it does not even feel that it is a sphere. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spread out the earth. وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ وَأَنْهَارًا, and in it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made mountains and rivers. And ulama have said that the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned mountains and rivers together is because both of them are very interconnected, and they are a great sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we look at the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is called the water cycle, both these things, today's science says, so the way is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1400 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the Quran, and all the things are put in it. Science is going to progress as time progresses to reach the level of what is the meaning of the Quran and what is contained in the Quran. Science is constantly in progression, constantly increasing in knowledge and its understanding of the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, now we know that the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of these mountains and rivers is a great system of storage and delivery of water. That the water rises, the sun shines on the oceans, the water rises and is delivered in a perfect method that no human being could have thought, designed or implemented, that it rises, it becomes part of the air, and it travels towards far off places, and then it strikes the mountains. And therein it is stored, either frozen, or it flows down in the form of rivers to the places of people, and human beings make their populations and their communities close to bodies of water, flowing rivers or lakes, or this water from the rivers seeps into the earth, and human beings, if they are not close to a river or a stream or a lake, they dig the earth and they find the water. So this is Who could have thought of this system? Who could have made this system? Could have made this system except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمِن كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ, and in all the fruits. جَعَلَ فِيهَا زَوْجَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made زَوْجَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ, couples, or even more than two types. So if we take the botany tells us that in most plants there is a male and a female. A human being looking at a plant could not know this, and especially the people of that time, the Arabs of that time, they would not even have thought, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that there is pairs in these. Similarly, in that same tree, on the same twig, if you think about it, that same twig has pretty much consistently same conditions. It is getting nutrients from the same soil, it is getting the same kind of water, it is getting the same air, it is getting the same nutrition. In fact, they are right next to each other on that same twig. One of them is big, one of them is small. One of them is sweet, one of them is sour. One of them is green, one of them is red. One of them is tasty, one of them is bitter. All of these things are the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even those people who say that matter has these things and they evolve on their own, they cannot justify how this happens. That exact same conditions, but two different outcomes. So this is only by the will and the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yudabbirul amr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is in control of everything. Yughshil layl and nahar. The night comes after the day and covers it. How? The system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that every single part of the world, they have their sun, they have their time of sunlight, and they have that same sun is there, that same earth is there, but Allah has only rotated them in such a way that they get their share of sunlight and they also get their share of night, and they get the time to take peace and take comfort and take rest. And then not only the sun and the moon and the brightness and the darkness, but within human bodies and within plant life and within animal life, there is so many chemical changes that occur in these creations and the water bodies and all of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we don't even know because of this day and night. And all of that is controlled by a simple wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so many things are related to it. Human beings have those chemicals that activate and cause them to sleep, cause them to slow down. Plants, their chemicals, excretions, everything is changed in terms of night and day. All of these things are going on. The night covers the day. You see the sun going down and the moon coming up. There are great signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna fi dhalika la'ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun. For sure, verily, there is signs in this for the people who think. وَفِي الْأَرْضِ, and in the earth, قِطَعٌ مُتَجَاوِرَاتٍ, there is pieces of lands that are right next to each other, that are adjacent to each other. وَجَنَّاتٌ مِّنْ أَعْنَابٍ وَزَرْعٌ وَنَخِيلٌ صِنْوَانٌ وَغَيْرُ صِنْوَانٍ. There are gardens of grapes and farms and date palms. And some have twin trunks while some have a single trunk. So if you look at the date palm, some of them start with one trunk and then bifurcate into two, and some remain one and then give off side branches. Who controls that when they are in the same soil, in the same garden, in the same place? Who controls this? Who has the authority that gives these differences? If matter within itself had this thing, then why would, in the exact same condition, why would they give two different outcomes? Similarly, there's adjacent pieces of land but totally different sort of plantation. If you go to some places which are unique for this, you'll see that there's barren land and right next to it there is greenery. The barren land will not produce any greenery, and the green fertile land is ready to produce a lot of crops and all sorts of greenery and vegetation. What is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is deciding which land is going to be fertile and which land is going to be barren. Yusqa bima'in wahid, these trees, they are different, and they are yusqa bima'in wahid, they are irrigated with the same water. وَنُفَضِّلُ بَعْضَهَا عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الْأُكُلِ. That same land, same tree, but some fruits might be better in taste, some might not be as good. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In this there are signs for those people who think, who have aql. So only those people who use these signs and find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and conclude that there is somebody who's controlling everything and there is a supreme power that is an authority, only those people deserve to be called aqilin, the people of aql or the people of wisdom. Otherwise, those who do not reach it, they are utter ignorant people. This is, to not reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is utter ignorance. All sorts of knowledge, if it does not take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is utter ignorance indeed. How much time? 10 minutes. Okay. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.